Hi, everyone. Welcome to our fall virtual open house at Ursinus College. I'm Diane Greenwood, Director of Admission. While I'd hoped to meet so many of you in person on campus today, that just wasn't possible due to COVID-19. So on behalf of our admission staff and all of us in our college community, it's my pleasure to welcome you today. And before we get started, I'd like to give a special thanks to Brittany Grayson, who's our Associate Director of Admission. Brittany puts together so many of our events, and I don't know if you've been with us for other events or if this is your first, but Brittany does a fabulous job. So thank you, Brittany. Many of you who are joining us today are seniors in high school. Some are juniors, a few sophomores, and I know we have some transfer students who are joining us. I think we can all agree that 2020 has been a most unusual year. So I think about what all you're doing between navigating hybrid courses or virtual courses and getting back into in-person classes and thinking about the college search and starting your application. There's a lot going on. The college search is typically a time that you receive so much information, let alone in a year that's been as unusual as 2020. Please know that Ursinus, we understand how challenging this year is, and we're here for you. Each of you throughout the college search will work with an assigned admission counselor, and our staff is very talented. They're amazing. And your admission counselor is happy to answer any questions about Ursinus, the college search, the application and admission process. So please take advantage of your relationship with your admission counselor. Looking at the constraints that so many of you have faced due to the pandemic led Ursinus to really revise our merit scholarship process. Our goal is to create a more inclusive opportunity for our students. With this in mind, Ursinus is pleased to share that our Gateway Scholarship, which is worth $35,000 a year, is now available totally on a test optional basis. And you're going to hear more about that in a few minutes from Sam Carter. I'm pleased to say that Ursinus College is open. We're open for visitors. We have been since the beginning of July. And Ursinus is very successfully in the midst of an in-person fall semester. Our administration really took the time to thoughtfully decide how a fall semester would impact each of our 1,500 students. Faculty and staff were innovative and deliberate as they thought about the safety and the needs of all of our students as we offer an in-person residential liberal arts experience. And one of the ways we've been so successful is our COVID testing policy. So here at Ursinus, each of our students were tested before the beginning of the fall semester, when they came back for the fall semester, and they're tested each and every week. We're committed to offering that as we move forward into the spring semester as well. Faculty and staff are also tested on an ongoing basis, just not quite weekly. So pretty much every week in the recent past, we've virtually been at 0 new COVID cases. So I encourage you, if you'd like more information on COVID and Ursinus's policies, please check out our COVID dashboard on the website. So when you come to campus and you join us in the Office of Admission, you're going to come to our brand new Shell House Commons building. It's awesome. It's state of the art. It's not only the home to the Office of Admission, but it's a hub of student life, a gateway to the community. And I can tell you many of us in the Office of Admission are very happy that it's also the home of Cafe 2020, which proudly serves some delicious Starbucks products. For those of you who would prefer to visit us virtually, we have an amazing variety of virtual opportunities on a daily basis, and our admission counselors are also available some select evenings as well. Now let's talk about what's going to happen today. Today is an opportunity for prospective students like you to take a closer look at all that Ursinus has to offer, both inside and outside of the classroom. In a few minutes, you're going to hear from Sam Carter, our Associate Director of Admission, who's going to tell you more about why Ursinus is a top 100 liberal arts institution. Sam's also going to talk about our application process and financial aid. And the timing of today's session is fabulous because I would encourage all of you to apply early action, and that application deadline is November 1st. You get your decision by mid-December. It takes so much of the stress out of the decision process. Following Sam's presentation, you're going to have an opportunity to participate in 3 sessions. One is a financial aid session. We also have a panel focused on academics and one panel focused on student life. So that's a chance for you to network with current students, faculty, and staff, ask your questions, and hear from them what life is really like at Ursinus. But before I turn the morning over to Sam, I'd like to share just a few things about Ursinus. Here at Ursinus, we just completed our sesquicentennial. That's our 150th anniversary as a top 100 liberal arts institution. We have an amazing story to tell, and we hope that many of you will help us craft our next chapter. Ursinus is also exceedingly proud to be recognized as one of the 44 colleges that change lives. And Ursinus is so much more than that. Here at Ursinus, we want your experience to be transformational. We want you to become more than you ever thought was possible. Ursinus will push you and stretch you beyond what you thought was possible. At Ursinus, we're not looking for just A+ students with high test scores. However, we do offer everyone an A+ education. So how do we do that? Our focus is on how we teach. You'll have an opportunity at Ursinus to work with professors on research if you choose as early as your first year. Faculty will listen to you because listening is such an integral part of the educational experience. This combination develops successful leaders, individuals who are bold, imaginative, who can think outside of the box, and who can see the big picture. So again, thank you for joining us today. Before we move on, I'm going to ask someone to go back one slide if we could. This is your virtual packet. You all should have received this yesterday by email. If you signed up last night, I believe you got this morning. There's a lot of great information in here. One thing is your admission counselor, and that is a really awesome person for you to connect with. Again, our admission counselors are going to help you every step of the way. There's also information in your packet on our application deadlines as well as our scholarships. And then the next slide. Also have some fun with us this morning. We're running a social media contest, and we're asking you to submit a selfie or some kind of photo of you participating in the open house. If you have on some Halloween colors or some Halloween things, that would be great. And on Monday, we're going to choose a winner, and you're going to get a really comfortable Ursinus fuzzy blanket, and they're really fantastic. So I look forward to seeing all of your photos. Okay, before I turn it over to Sam, we're going to start with a short video. Again, welcome.
I am the first of my kind. I am fluid. I am changing. From A to Zach and everything that happens in between, I am ready. I'm making each moment my own. I am both researcher and rock star, athlete and action hero, realist and dreamer. I am Ursinus. I am the bear. Born at the intersection of reality and fiction. I'm only writing down the rules so I can break them. Define me at your own peril. Giving it my own slant. Rounding off all the corners. Learning new things at every turn. And between you, me, and the Grizz, it's all taking shape in front of me. Am I the same as when I got here? I'm not even the same as I was 10 minutes ago. And that, my friend, is exactly the point. Because tomorrow is happening right now. And the day after that is what I'm interested in. I am change personified. Ursinus College. We shape minds that shape the world.
Okay, everyone, good morning. Sorry, I had a little bit of a technical difficulty with my camera, but welcome to our virtual fall open house. I am so excited to be joined by all of you this morning as we endeavor to learn a little bit more about what Ursinus College has to offer. My name is Sam Carter, Associate Director of Admission, and I could not be more excited to be with you here this morning. So a couple of things before we get started. I do want to remind everyone that we do have a Q&A section. So we're gonna have plenty of opportunities to address all of your questions, get you those answers that you need as you go about this application process. So feel free to throw your questions into the Q&A. We are going to handle those at the end of this session. And then you also will have ample opportunity to ask those questions if we aren't able to address them during this session, during our financial aid session, our academic and student life panels that are going to be taking place after our main admission presentation as well. So without further ado, let's get things underway. We are going to kick things off this morning with a quick poll. And we just want to get a little bit of a better sense about where you are in terms of going about this college decision process. So our first poll that we have is just trying to get a sense of, is this your first time visiting with Ursinus? Have you been with us before? So I'll give everyone just a few quick seconds here to answer as I see those tallies coming in. All right, we're going to go ahead and end that poll. I'll share the results with you all. So very nice. It looks like for several of you, this is your first time visiting with us. Welcome. We're so happy to have you here. A few of you have been to campus. That's fantastic. And others have connected virtually in the past. So as you go through this process, don't hesitate to reach out to us. There are plenty of ways that you can be engaging with us virtually. And of course, as Diane indicated before, we are open for in-person visitors. To kick things off here with some fast facts about Ursinus, we are located in Collegeville, Pennsylvania, which is about 40 minutes west of the city of Philadelphia. We have 1,500 students on campus coming from 31 states, DC, Puerto Rico, and 22 countries. As Diane mentioned, we are one of 44 colleges that change lives. And as a CTCL school, we really emphasize putting the student experience at the center of everything that we do. And that begins, of course, as early as that college search and application process with us. We are one of 10% of schools nationwide that boast a chapter of Phi Beta Kappa, which is a national honor society. And our students have gone on to garner Watson Fellowships, Fulbright Scholarships, and we have a Rhodes Scholar amongst our alum as well. We did want to take a moment to share with you all just some of our rankings. We don't necessarily pay a ton of attention to these rankings, but we do like that we are able to garner national acclaim for all of the great things that we have happening on our campus. So ranked number 82 for national liberal arts colleges, number 27 for most innovative schools in 2019. And we maintain that ranking for most innovative colleges in the US News and World Reports as well. So we are incredibly proud of what we have going on our campus, and we are extremely grateful that we're able to share that with the country through some of these more nationalized rankings. On our classroom, or on our campus, you'll find that we are not the classroom that you see on TV. And this starts obviously first and foremost with the academic experience that our students have. So all of our students are going to come in on paper undecided. No one on campus arrives with a declared major, and we do that very intentionally to allow you to enter into our academic community with an open mind. You are going to take several courses through our Ursinus Quest core curriculum that we'll talk about in a couple of slides. But what this does is it really frees you up to pick and choose from some of our over 60 plus majors that we have on our campus. Our top 5 majors include biology, applied economics, which is our business program, health and exercise physiology, psychology, media communication studies, and then neuroscience is often tied with media communication studies in that 5th spot for our students. But you will be able to take classes in a major that you may be thinking about as soon as your first semester on campus, but you won't actually be taking courses officially having declared that major until after your first semester on our campus. All right, so it looks like we have another poll. So I will pull up our second poll question, and this has to do more with academics, and we just want to get a sense of where people are this morning in terms of what they might want to be majoring in. Is your mind made up? Are you open for exploration, or are you 100% undecided, which is also 100% okay at this juncture? All right, I'll go ahead and close the poll. Thank you everyone for your participation. I'll share those results. And for the most part, people have a general kind of idea, but they're open for exploration. Several of you do have your mind made up. And a couple of you are absolutely undecided, which again is absolutely fine with us. And I think that that's very nice, and where a lot of students will find themselves at this point. You might be totally undecided. Maybe you have a kind of idea, but you're open for exploration. Or for those few kind of dedicated students, you know exactly where it is that you want to be headed, and that's completely fine. But if you don't have any idea, if you're open for exploration, we are there to walk with you every step of the way through our Ursinus Quest core curriculum. And this starts with our Common Intellectual Experience, which is a universal course taken by every student on our campus. So through the Common Intellectual Experience, we call it CIE. As students, you're going to engage in conversations around a common set of works drawn from diverse historical contexts, cultures, and beliefs. And all of these are artfully selected by our faculty to prompt thoughtful examination of our central questions for the course. And we call these the 4 questions, and they come to bear at many different points throughout your 4 years on campus. And those questions are, what should matter to me? How should we live together? How can we understand the world? And what will I do? And we're asking you to reflect on these pretty in-depth questions throughout your 4 years on campus. We don't expect you to come in with perfect answers, but it is our hope that as you go through this Common Intellectual Experience, as you go through your major, on our campus that your answers to these questions will morph, will change, will develop as you in turn do the same. So the goal of CIE is to cultivate the self-knowledge necessary to live an independent or responsible life. And it really allows us to establish an intellectual community enjoyed by students and faculty alike on our campus. So it's very in-depth reading, writing, discussion-based coursework, and the Common Intellectual Experience does a great job of getting students sort of up to speed on what's expected in our classroom on our campus. We also have something called the Experiential Learning Project. And again, all of our students are going to complete what we call the XLP. And this is designed for you to take what you're learning into the classroom and to apply it to the world around you. The XLP can be fulfilled in a number of different ways. You only need to do one, but most students are doing 2 or even 3 of these. The number one way that a student is going to fulfill the Experiential Learning Project is through an internship. We work one-on-one with our Center for Career and Postgraduate Development. They'll help you identify areas you might be interested in exploring. They'll walk you through the application process, resume preparation, interview preparation. They'll be with you every single step of the way. And that same process can be applied for once you've graduated and you're applying for job opportunities in that senior year. They'll continue to work with you in that one-on-one mentoring role as you go through that process. Study abroad is very popular on our campus. About a third of our students are going to study abroad, usually for a semester in the junior year. Once again, you'll be working one-on-one with your study abroad advisor. They'll identify your geographic goals, your academic goals. They'll walk you through that entire application process. Any program that we're connecting you with is going to transfer 100% of the credits back with us, so you will never be set up to graduate late. And then as well, you are going to pay just as you would to be on campus. So any financial aid, any scholarships, all of that is still in full force with Ursinus. We deal with those third-party organizations. We would never want finances to be a reason why a student wasn't able to go abroad. So internships, study abroad, and then research is kind of the third largest way that students are going to fulfill that XLP requirement. When a lot of students hear research, they think that it's going to be in the sciences. Indeed, it is, but there is not a major on campus where students can't be doing research with their faculty. Since we are undergraduate only, you are going to have every opportunity to connect with faculty, get in those labs, and get those research positions that might be reserved for graduate students at larger universities. You'll be working with your faculty member, you'll be presenting at regional and national conferences, and then if that research is getting published, your name is published right along with it. So those are sort of the 3 largest ways that students will complete that XLP. You can also do student teaching, you can do service opportunities, or a creative project if those 3 are not going to work for you. And really the common theme throughout all of this is student support. We're going to give you 1,000 opportunities while you're on campus, but we're never going to expect you to go into those all on your own. You're going to have someone working with you every single step of the way in our supportive and collaborative community. That can come in the form of the Institute for Student Success, where we house our tutoring center. We have our Center for Writing and Speaking. All of these services are available completely free of charge for our students. And that's a great way for you as you're making that transition from high school into college. Maybe you're struggling a little bit in general, maybe it's just one assignment here or there, but that's where you're able to self-advocate, go in, get that extra little bit of help that you need. We have student tutors, we have professional tutors, whatever's going to work best for you, and just get that little nudge in the right direction. We have our cohort advising model, which pairs students up in groups of 8 to 10 other first-year incoming students. You're required to meet as a group 1 time per week with your faculty member. That allows that faculty member to check in on you, make sure you're doing great on our campus. They can steer you in the direction of some of those services that we might have, like the Institute for Student Success. It also gives you that social network right from day 1 on campus. You know 10 other students, you see them in the dining hall, you say, hey, on the quad, you're able to connect with them for study groups, whatever it might be. All of this is designed to help ease that transition from high school into college during that first year. Since the inception of the cohort advising model, I believe we're about to go into our 4th year of that cohort advising. We've had right around a 90% retention rate from 1st to 2nd year for our students. I do believe that that is a direct result of that cohort advising model of the services we're offering, like the Institute for Student Success. And then lastly, the student-faculty relationship is emphasized at every step of the way on our campus. They're going to know your name. This is not the type of school where you're going to go sit in the back of a large lecture hall. Our average class size is 15. We have a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio. You're going to build, you're going to grow, you're going to foster those relationships with the faculty. And indeed, they've chosen to teach at an institution like Ursinus because I describe them as teachers first and sort of professors second. And what I mean by that is they're putting the student experience at the forefront of everything that they're doing. They're going to make sure that you're being successful in their classroom. They're an integral part of our community outside of the classroom. They're going to our sporting events, our performing arts shows, clubs and organizations putting on activities. Faculty are an active and integral part of that community. Once they know that all of their students are successful, then they're doing their own research, they're doing their publications as well, but it's never done at the expense of that student-faculty relationship. That is indeed something that you're going to be able to grow and foster during your 4 years and beyond on our campus. And while academics is indeed central to your experience on our campus, we believe firmly in a 4-year residential liberal arts experience. And so we have a housing requirement and guarantee for all of our students. We do guarantee housing for all 4 years. We have 37 different residency options, and the vast majority of our students are going to take advantage of a number of them throughout their 4 years on campus. We house all of our first-year students together very intentionally in our first-year residence halls to build camaraderie amongst that cohort. After that, we have suite-style housing available. We have a row of townhouses located right across the street from our campus. And some of those will even be broken down by special interest. So maybe you and a group of friends are really interested in art, in music, in environmental issues, whatever it might be, those will constantly rotate. And so if you'd like to propose a special interest house, you can live with a group of like-minded individuals who share that passion, and you're able to get that up and running. Each and every single year, those are rotating out. We have over 100 different clubs and organizations on our campus. You name it, we pretty much have it already, but you are able to get those started up with just about 3 or 4 friends, a faculty advisor, and then you're eligible for funding as an official Ursinus club at that point. Community service is big on our campus through the UCare Center. If the UCare Center was an official club, it would be our largest club that we have on campus. And I think students at Ursinus recognize that they're very fortunate to be at a place like Ursinus. And so they're looking to give back to their community. That can be as intense as our Bonner Leader experience, which is going to do 400 hours of community service as part of a scholarship opportunity, or it could be relaxed as just a couple of hours each weekend. You're going and volunteering at an animal shelter or something like that. That is entirely up to you, but I do really encourage our students to take advantage of the UCare Center and give back via community service. Campus jobs are available for students who would want those, either through formal work study opportunities, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, or more informally. There are a number of ways that you can connect with our office through being a tour guide, being a senior fellow in the Office of Admission. You have students who work in the dining halls at the Athletic Center. Maybe you're a clerk for one of your faculty members in that department, whatever it might be. If a campus job is something that you want, that is a way that our students are able to spend their time. And we have a very active spiritual life scene on campus. We do not have any specific denomination on our campus, but if students are looking to come to our campus, pursue their faith, be engaged in that spiritual journey, they certainly are able to do so while they're on our campus. And then our Institute for Inclusion and Equity allows our community to be guided by the principles of diversity, of inclusion, of mutual respect. We actually really have that at the center of our mission as an institution. And we have recently moved our Institute for Inclusion and Equity to the center of campus in a completely new space so that the physical might represent what we have as an ethos as part of our institution. Athletics are popular on our campus, so we are in Division III Centennial Conference. We have 25 different varsity athletic teams, and 41% of our student body will participate in a varsity sport. We have a very robust scene regarding school spirit on our campus, which I think is rare for a school of our size for Division III. And so that allows students to come and take advantage of all the great things that happen at a small liberal arts school, those personalized relationships, that one-on-one mentoring, but you're still able to be active in that sports scene, in that school spirit, if that's something that you're looking for. The athletes are your friends, they're your classmates, your roommates. And so I think that our community, as they like to support each other in all of their endeavors, are able to turn out for the games and support those student athletes on our campus. About a third of our students will participate in club or intramural sports as well. And so if you're looking to come and have that active experience, you are able to, but by no means do you need to be an athlete to feel like you fit in on our campus. And so that was a very high level overview of everything that we have going on outside of the classroom, but we do have a complete list of 75 items on our website for the UC bucket list, along with some Ursinus traditions. A couple of my favorites. I really like the opportunity that students have to bike right into Philadelphia via the Perkiomen Trail and the Schuylkill River Trail. It's a very unique experience for students. You're able to bike right from our campus all the way into the center city of Philadelphia. And so if you want to take a day trip in there with a couple of friends, get in some exercise, you certainly are able to do that as well. Homecoming weekend is very popular on our campus. That's where alums are able to return to campus. And we really believe that homecoming is a coming home for those alumni who are able to come back where they had such a fantastic 4 years. So by no means is this a complete list, but if you are able to get onto our campus, we'd love to have you at least kind of try and tackle a couple of these while you are visiting us in person. Much of what you're going to do on or at Ursinus is going to take place on campus, but just quickly around us, there are several opportunities to get involved with the town and the community. So the Providence Town Center is about 5 minutes away from campus. This is a great local opportunity for shopping, for restaurants. There's a movie theater there as well. And so if students are just looking to kind of step away physically for a couple of hours, the Providence Town Center is definitely the most popular option and easiest option for them. Phoenixville is the town right next to Collegeville. It has a very robust arts and music scene. They do First Fridays where they'll shut down Main Street, and it's open for vendors, for farmers markets, for artisans. And so students are able to kind of pop into Phoenixville for that cool, unique experience of those First Fridays. King of Prussia is about 15 minutes away. It has the largest retail space in the country. It is the second largest mall in the country after the Mall of America. And it's also home to the BioPharm Corridor. So not only does it boast fantastic opportunities for shopping, but there are plenty of opportunities for internships with all of those companies and organizations that are right there in King of Prussia. We touched on the Perkiomen Trail. It runs right by our campus. You're able to walk, bike, hike, whatever it might be. If you're looking to just get into nature and step outside into the world, the Perkiomen Trail is a fantastic opportunity for those students. And then of course, Philadelphia, being about 40 minutes away, it's the 6th largest city in the country. And that allows you great opportunities for internships, but it's also just a great city to step into for a weekend, go to a museum, see a show. The restaurant scene is fantastic in Philadelphia. And so our students are able to take advantage of that metropolis, but by no means are we a city school. You're able to leave and slow things down right on our more residential campus. And so one opportunity I do want to highlight in the realm of Philadelphia is the Philly X program, the Philadelphia Experience. Students will live in the city of Philadelphia for a semester. You're living on Drexel's campus. You're taking classes part-time, taught by Ursinus faculty who travel into the city. And then you're doing a full-time internship during that semester. And so it functions much like an abroad semester. You are away from campus for the duration of that semester, but you're only about 40 minutes away. So if you want to pop back, visit your friends, visit faculty, you are able to do that. But you can see here just some of the amazing opportunities that students have been able to do with internships. And obviously Philly X is really emphasizing that experiential learning, getting you out into the world, getting you that hands-on tangible experience. And what we're doing through that XLP, through the Philly X program, through those internships, research and study abroad, is we're building students' resumes. And so not only have you graduated from a top 100 liberal arts college when you leave Ursinus, you have 2 semesters of an internship, one in the city of Philadelphia. You were published as a result of research that you did one-on-one with a faculty member. You studied at the University of Auckland. And all of this is going into that resume building, that preparation for you for whatever is next, be it employment at one of these companies or maybe going on to a graduate program at some of the most selected schools in the nation. We prepare our students for success. And so we have over 16,900 graduates currently in our alumni network. 94% of our graduates are employed full-time, pursuing a full-time graduate degree, or doing a year of service within 6 months of graduation. And again, 100% of those students have done some type of experiential learning while they're on our campus. We have over 20,000 full-time jobs and internships within our own software called Handshake. You can kind of think of it as LinkedIn for college students for internships. And we have a 76% four-year graduation rate, which compares to the national average of 53%. So we believe firmly that everything that we have going on our campus, that in-depth personalized academic experience, those experiential learning opportunities, the opportunities to grow and to develop outside of the classroom through being a member of our residential community on our campus really leads our graduates to be prepared, to be confident, and be successful in whatever it is that they're going to do after their 4 years on our campus. And so just to kind of recap, we believe that we have a number of things that are uniquely Ursinus. We're one of the 44 colleges that change lives. The Common Intellectual and Ursinus Quest will constantly challenge you and ask you to reflect on those 4 very in-depth questions. Our experiential learning requirement allows you to build that resume while you work towards graduation. And then we'll talk about some of our specialty scholarships in just a little bit as we transition more into the application side of things right now. But before we do that, I did want to take this opportunity to do one final poll. And this is designed for us to get a sense of where you are at in your college search journey. All right, I see the answers flooding in here. Just a couple more seconds. All right, I'll go ahead and share those results. So where are you at in your college search journey? Most of you had started the application process, but still putting on some final touches. That is absolutely fine. Some of you are in the gathering of information phase. And some of you have even submitted your application already. To those students, I say congratulations. Is one thing that you're able to cross off your list. But for those students who are still gathering information, for those students who have started that application, I strongly encourage you to work with us on that early action deadline of November 1st. Students are able to apply to Ursinus via the common application or the coalition application. Both are entirely free. We do not have any type of application fee. The early action is where we see most of our applications coming in from our prospective students. There is no downside to early action. You're not locked in like you are in early decision. Early action simply allows you to submit that application earlier in the process, cross it off your list. You'll receive your decision from us in mid-December, and then you are able to wait until the spring and really take time and make a very considered and reflective decision on where you ultimately want to call home for the next 4 years. For us with early action, that also allows you to be eligible for all of our merit-based scholarships, which we'll talk about in a couple of slides. So for students who are engaged in the process, I strongly encourage you to be submitting that application with us during the early action time period. Deadline is November 1st. We do have early decision available for students. Early decision is for students who know that Ursinus is their top choice. And you will sign that early decision agreement saying if accepted, you'll withdraw your applications from all other institutions. And so early decision is a great opportunity for students who know that Ursinus is their top choice. They want to make that declaration upfront in the application process. We have 2 early decision rounds, ED1 and ED2, with application deadlines of December 1st and February 1st. We do have regular decision, which operates much like early action. It's just later on in the process. You aren't eligible for all of our merit-based scholarships in regular decision, and then you're going to get your answer or your acceptance obviously later on in the cycle. That has a February 1st deadline, and you'll get your acceptance letter from us during March. And then for transfer students, we do accept those applications on a rolling basis. So if there are any transfer students in the audience who are looking to engage with us, we do certainly look forward to reviewing your transfer application. We can accept that at any point during this time, and then we'll turn that decision around in about 2 weeks on a rolling basis for those transfer students. So once you submit your application, that's great. That's the first step, but we do need a couple of other items from you. So we do need your transcript as well. We will look at your GPA as given to us by your school. Our average GPA is an unweighted 3.45. So we're looking at that GPA, but then we're also looking at the types of courses that you're taking. You're taking a lot of honors courses, a lot of APs, a lot of dual enrollments. All those are going to work together to give you what we call a strength of curriculum score. And for us, obviously, we want to see that you were successful, but we also want to see that you challenge yourself, that you push yourself, that you were able to be successful on that next level of curriculum within your high school. We are also looking for a letter of recommendation from your guidance counselor. If you have a teacher, a mentor, someone who can really speak to you though, and you want to submit more than one letter of recommendation, we'll certainly take a look at those. We're also looking at your personal essay as a part of your common application. We are test optional. We've always been test optional. Diane was mentioning that we did have one change to our Gateway Scholarship, which we'll talk about in light of COVID and just the limitations around testing. So in the past, we've had about 70% of students submitting test scores, but by no means do you need to feel pressure to submit those test scores. You are eligible for admission. You are eligible for every single one of our scholarships with or without those test scores. So you can see our averages here. Average SAT is a 1240, average ACT is a 27. Submit those if you would like, you do not need to. We have an optional Y or sinus essay as part of our supplemental application. And that simply allows you to let us know what it is that you love about Ursinus, and tell us why you think that you'd be a good fit for us, but also let us know why we would be a good fit for you. I think that this entire process is really a conversation. And that's what we do in terms of our interviews. They're optional, they are not required, but I always tell students who are engaging in that interview, I'm gonna have questions for you, but make sure you arrive to that interview with questions for us. You want to be ascertaining everything you possibly can about the institution that you are going to ultimately choose and call home for the next 4 years. For transfer applicants, the process isn't too different. We do need that personal essay. We'll need your high school transcript. We'll also need your college transcript, and then your student conduct verification form and course descriptions. And that is obviously so we can see the courses that you've taken, and we can bring those in as transfer credit for you when you do ultimately gain that acceptance and you matriculate into Ursinus as a result of that transfer application process. And ultimately, all we're trying to figure out throughout this entire process is who you are. Are you someone who's going to be a great member of our community? Again, we're not a large institution. We only have about 1,500 students on campus. And so every single person that we welcome to our campus is an integral, is a key, is an important part of building that community. We want to know who you are, who you'll be on our campus. And we ultimately want to set you up for success as a part of our admission process. So once you are admitted, that's only kind of the first step of that two-step puzzle. And we believe firmly in that second step as we talk about finances, that private is possible. 99% of our students are going to receive some form of scholarship through Ursinus. And our scholarships take a couple of different forms. So we'll talk first about these merit scholarships. None of these scholarships require any type of application. When you apply to Ursinus, you are automatically applying for all of these scholarships. Your merit-based scholarship will be reflected in your acceptance letter. So for these merit-based scholarships, they range from $21,000 up to $40,000. So the Zacharias Honors Scholarship is $40,000. That is only available for students who are applying early action or early decision. So I mentioned not all scholarships are available. The Zacharias Honors Scholarship is reserved for students who are applying in early action, and that is usually reserved for about the top 5% of our incoming class. The Gateway Scholarship that Diane talked about is available for students via test scores or via GPA. So if you have a 1250 on the SAT, a 28 on the ACT, you're automatically going to qualify for that Gateway Scholarship. If you have a GPA of a 3.85 or above, you're automatically going to qualify for that Gateway Scholarship. For students who maybe have a little bit below that 3.85 figure, but who have challenged themselves in an extremely rigorous curriculum, we will consider students on a case-by-case basis with a 3.5 GPA and above who have what we call an exceptionally rigorous curriculum. So we'll look at that on a case-by-case basis, and every single applicant to Ursinus is going to have at least 2 readers reviewing your applications, not only for admission, but to make sure that we're connecting you with the best merit scholarship that you qualify for. The Reverend Rice Memorial Scholarship is for students who have meaningfully impacted issues of diversity at their schools, in their communities. And so we're looking at your activities, we're looking at your essays as we're going about nominating students for the Reverend Rice Memorial Scholarship. And then for our Ursinus scholarships, they range from $21,000 up to $30,000. We look at a combination of GPA, strength of curriculum, and test scores if and only if you are submitting those tests. For our transfer students, if you're a member of the PTK Honor Society, you're automatically qualifying for $30,000 a year. Again, none of these scholarships require you to do anything beyond simply submitting your common application, your coalition application to Ursinus. We do have a number of specialty scholarships available for students. These do require additional application. Some of these are what we call stackable, some are non-stackable. So for the creative writing and performing arts scholarships, since those are in such large dollar amounts, those would actually replace your merit scholarship with $40,000. But for these able scholars on down with the kind of those smaller dollar amounts, these will be able to be stacked on top of your merit scholarship that you're getting. So students, once you submit your application to Ursinus, those login credentials will allow you to log in and look at the applications for all of these. Students can apply for up to 2 of these, and most of them have a deadline by January 1st. So definitely check them out on our website, ursinus.edu/opportunity. All of these are based around an area of interest. If you have a love of dance, of music, of theater, we offer one $40,000 scholarship in each of those disciplines. For Parlee Fellows, students who are interested in science, but they're also interested in where that intersects with society, how that research, how that work might be able to be used to better the world around them. Those are great students for the Parlee Fellows. Social justice scholars are students who are committed to social justice issues and making the world a better place. You lead scholars are for students who are very interested in leadership. You're a leader in your high school. You want to continue that through a formal curriculum, through formal mentoring on our campus. All of these have an area of interest. And you know that as you come in as one of these scholars, you'll be surrounded by scholars who share that passion, who share that interest with you. So I always tell students, once you submit your application, the next step is to log right onto our website, check out these specialty scholarships, find 2 that speak to you and apply to them. I cannot encourage you enough to go online and check out these specialty scholarships. These will not be reflected in your acceptance letter. That process takes place later on in the year. So January 1st deadline for these specialty scholarships. We'll review those. We'll select students to interview with faculty, and we will get these answers out to you, usually in late February. We would obviously update your financial aid package at that point, which would have your merit aid and need-based aid already in there as a part of that process. Speaking of need-based aid, I'm now going to welcome on Aisling Supan, who works in our Office of Student Financial Services. And Aisling is going to be able to talk to you a little bit about our need-based aid. Aisling, take it away.
Hello, Sam, and hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so happy to have you and to tell you all about what Ursinus College has to offer. So a lot of students and families have questions about financial aid, and we're getting right into the thick of that season. You may have heard about the FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, and that is our main financial aid application. It became available October 1st, so it's been open for just under a month now. If you are a junior, sophomore, anyone not in their senior year of high school and not already enrolled in college, you'll want to wait until senior year. October 1st of senior year is when the FAFSA becomes available, when you'll start filling it out. And transfer students, you can fill it out right now if you'd like. The FAFSA calculates something called our expected family contribution. And the EFC, call it the EFC for short, is how we are able to determine what kinds of financial aid you can qualify for. Our Financial Aid 101 session is going to go more in depth into the types of aid that you may qualify for through the FAFSA, but they include the UC fund from Ursinus College. We'll look for state grants and federal grants. Loans are considered a source of financial aid, and all students that fill out a FAFSA will be automatically qualified for a student loan through the Department of Education. And we'll also talk about some external sources of aid. So outside of the FAFSA, maybe through your community, through employers, different sources like that. As I mentioned, we do have our Financial Aid 101 sessions coming up after this presentation, but you're more than welcome to join us for our financial aid nights as well. That'll take a really deep dive into filling out the FAFSA, the different types of aid, and what to expect throughout the process. So we have 2 coming up. One will be on Thursday, November 12th, and the second one will be Monday, December 14th. So being here today, you'll be getting reminders about those events and how to sign up for them. So we hope to see you either later at the breakout sessions or at one of our financial aid nights. So I'll turn it back to you, Sam.
All right, perfect. Thanks so much, Aisling. And again, just to reiterate, we are going to have a Financial Aid 101 session right after this. I know it's a hot topic. People have plenty of questions, so be sure to tune in to get all those questions answered. But students are going to receive their need-based and merit aid with their acceptance letter as part of that financial aid package. Specialty scholarships are going to take place a little bit later in the year, and we will update those packages accordingly. So what's next? As we draw to a close here with our formal presentation, the next step for all of you is to make sure that you've started that application. We have that early action deadline of November 1st, so you still have plenty of time to get that in with us. Visit campus in person if you are able to. We are doing in-person visits. They're all individualized. We're hosting those outside as weather permits. Masks are of course required. We're taking temperatures of all of our visitors. So while we are being able to offer those, we are certainly putting safety at the paramount of that visit process. We can also connect you with professor, connect you with a current student, and make sure that you're contacting your admission counselor throughout this process. They're going to be a great resource to get all of your questions answered. It doesn't always have to be in a formal way. We certainly do offer virtual visits. We offer interviews as well with your admission counselor. You can set those up formally through our website. But if you've got a quick question, shoot us an email, give us a call. We're always happy to interact with you and answer any questions that you may have throughout this process. So I've seen a good number of questions coming through in the chat. I believe we've done a great job of being able to get to the vast majority of those. And so I'm going to hop forward a little bit and give you all just a formal video tour at this point. You'll have plenty of opportunities in the financial aid session, in the academic session, in the student life session, and then afterwards as well, when we break out into those individualized visits with your specific admission counselor to get all of those questions answered throughout the day. So I do want to do my best to keep us on track in terms of scheduling as we go on this adventure together during this Saturday morning. So thank you all so much for joining me, and let's hop on a little bit of a virtual tour here together.
Hello, and welcome to Ursinus. While we cannot
Let's try that again, friends.
Hello, and welcome to Ursinus. While we cannot wait to meet you when you get here and show you around ourselves, we thought you would like to see just a few of the many highlights of our campus. First up is Baumberger Hall. Baumberger is the oldest building on campus and holds significant meaning for students and alumni, as it's where they mark both the beginning and end of their time at Ursinus. Freshman year convocation, the formal introduction to Ursinus in our community, takes place here, as does Baccalaureate, the culminating celebration of student achievements. Fun fact, many alumni go on to hold marriage ceremonies in Baumberger Auditorium, which just happens to hold one of the largest working organs in the country. Looking for a little quiet study time? Or maybe you need tech support? Murren Library is the place. Murren Library features a host of academic resources for students, including our technology support team, library services, and plenty of places to study. From quiet spots to designated group areas, there's an option for everyone. The best part? The library is open most nights until 2 a.m., so you're sure to be able to get that group project done on time. This is the IDC. The Innovation and Discovery Center, the IDC, is one of our newest spaces on campus. This interdisciplinary building combines state-of-the-art labs, classrooms, and maker spaces. Student feedback was essential in the IDC design, so throughout the building, you'll find lots of whiteboard walls, study alcoves, and comfy furniture, as requested. The IDC houses Ursinus's Parley Center for Science and the Common Good, which provides opportunities for students to become civically engaged scientific leaders, and the U Imagine Center, which encourages students to exercise innovation, leadership, imagination, and creativity. Now check out the Kaleidoscope. If your passion is in the performing arts, you'll spend a lot of time in the Kaleidoscope. Whether you yearn to take center stage or long to learn the literal ropes of lighting and set design, you'll learn from and work alongside professional directors, choreographers, and designers from both Philadelphia and New York City. This is Floyd Lewis Bake Center, home of Ursinus Athletics. Did you know Ursinus has 25 Division III varsity sports in the competitive Centennial Conference, and over a third of the student body participates on these NCAA teams? There is a strong history of winning across sports, with national championships in both women's lacrosse and field hockey. Outside of our athletic programs, options to keep active include a state-of-the-art fitness center, pool, and track, as well as intramurals, club teams, and much more. All athletic events are free to attend, and our campus community loves to come out to cheer on the Bears. Hungry? Try the Wismer Center. Located in the center of campus, Wismer is the center of student activity. Besides housing our two main dining options, cafeteria style and a la carte, it also holds support services like the Institute for Student Success and the Institute for Inclusion and Equity. In In addition, it also holds our Student Activities Office, which supports more than 100 student-run clubs and organizations. Every weekend, Student Activities hosts different no and low-cost sponsored activities off campus, including tickets to 76ers games or concerts, as well as buses to King of Prussia Mall, Philly, Dave & Buster's, Pino's Palette, and more. You need a place to sleep, right? Welcome to BPS. Beardwood Paisley Stauffer, BPS, is one of 2 first-year residence halls on campus. Both of our first-year halls have single, double, or triple rooms, along with common spaces for studying and hanging out. The resident advisors host fun activities and work hard to help students transition to college life. The summer before freshman year, students have the opportunity to fill out a housing questionnaire, which helps pair them with a roommate, or they can request one they've met previously. Many students go on to live with their first-year roommates all 4 years. And finally, Shellhaze Commons. Opened in 2020, the Shellhaze Commons is the new welcoming gateway to campus and a hub for social activity and student life. Housing the Office of Admission, the college bookstore, a coffee house, and meeting and event space, the Commons strengthens the connection between the college and Collegeville. With panoramic views of campus and ample indoor and outdoor seating to grab a cup of coffee, listen to music, or work on a project, the Commons is sure to become a favorite spot on campus that students, families, and alumni return to time and time again. These are just a selection of the buildings on campus that will become part of your everyday life as an Ursinus Bear. For even more information and next steps, check out ursinus.edu/visit. We hope to see you soon.
Right, and we do indeed hope to see you soon. For all those visit options, ursinus.edu/visit is going to be your one-stop shop for all of those. But we are thrilled to continue our time together this morning while the formal admission presentation draws to a close. You can go to our open house website right now to check out all of the panels. So we've got panels coming up at 11:05 and 11:40. And students and families, I encourage you to choose which ones speak most to you. If you want to hop around to a couple of different ones during the same session, that's completely fine. So for anyone interested in Financial Aid 101, you can just hang tight right here in this session. But for those looking for the academic or student life sessions, head back to our main fall open house page. The links for all of those are included right there. So thank you all for taking time out of your day to spend it with me, learn a little bit more about Ursinus. I look forward to interacting with you throughout the rest of the morning. And as always, go Bears. Thanks everyone. We'll see you soon.